Hola, ¿qué tal? Muy buenas tardes a todos. Bienvenidos a este su canal Anti-Scammer Channel Group. Mi nombre es Deiner Santos. El día de hoy tenemos una invitada muy especial, de verdad. Tenemos a Harmony o Harmony Lyn. Ella es actualmente y pertenece a la Armada de Estados Unidos. Nosotros la invitamos a este canal de YouTube para hacerle preguntas con relación a cómo es el manejo, cómo es que en la Armada de Estados Unidos y en sus diferentes ramas se canalizan las comunicaciones. De verdad, Harmony, te agradecemos que tú estés aquí y vamos a proceder ya con las preguntas. La primera pregunta es, Harmony, um, nos gustaría que nos hablaras sobre el tiempo que vienes advirtiendo en tu plataforma o en tu canal de YouTube sobre esto de las estafas nigerianas.
Well, we would like to know ¿cómo?
Okay. El tiempo que ella tiene en su plataforma, en su canal de YouTube, advirtiendo sobre las estafas nigerianas.
Oh, how long have you been talking about the scammers in your social media?
Well, thank you for having me on. I definitely appreciate the opportunity. I actually only recently started realizing that this was an issue. I was going through some Facebook groups and saw a group that said about military romance scams. And just out of curiosity, I clicked on it and I saw that there were lots of people in there asking questions about, does it make sense for someone in the military to need help with paying for food? Or does it make sense that someone would need help with getting back to the States? And so as I was seeing some of these questions, having been in the military for 10 years, it immediately, to me, I was realizing that these people were being scammed and I felt terrible about it. So I started to reply to their questions, and then overwhelmingly people were responding and sending me messages. So I ended up making a little video and posting it in there to answer some common questions, and started realizing that there was a need to make more content for this subject. So I would say probably for the last 3 or 4 months, I've been involved in some of these groups and making videos, and now have extended to YouTube.
De 2 a 4 meses he estado haciendo eso en sus redes sociales. Miró el video de anti-scammers.
¿Sí?
Y le interesó, y pues ella estaba viendo de cómo era de los scammers, y por eso miró los videos.
Ok, entiendo. Y una pregunta, más o menos, ¿a cuántas personas Harmony ha ayudado en esta labor?
How many people have you helped in this labor?
It's a great question. I haven't really calculated the number, but I would say at least 2 to 3 people a day reach out to me. And I've been doing this for, like I said, 3 or 4 months. So I can go through my Facebook messages, and it's just so many, whether it's people who feel like they're being scammed and they have a question, or even sometimes relatives will reach out. I had somebody's son reach out and say, I don't feel like this is right. My mom is in this online relationship. Can I ask you some questions? Does this make sense? I mean, I would put it close to 100 people. Like it's overwhelming how many people reach out on a daily basis.
Mucha gente ha hablado con ella de los scammers, si tienen preguntas, si le preguntan a ella y ella les responde. Y ha estado, how many months have you helped the people?
3 to 4 months.
De 3 a 4 meses ha ayudado a las personas con las preguntas que ellos tienen.
Okay. Mira qué bien. Mira, sabemos que tú eres parte de la Armada, Harmony. Y nos gustaría que tú nos dijeras cómo es el funcionamiento o cómo es el método que, por ejemplo, cuando ustedes están en un combate o en guerra, en alguna misión, cómo es que ustedes se comunican con sus respectivos familiares, llámese hijos, padres y madres.
We know that you're in the armed forces, Harmony. How is it that you communicate with your family members and friends while you're in combat in the mission?
That's another really good question. So I lived in Japan for almost 5 years, and I had a cell phone there, but obviously it was a smartphone. So if I had Wi-Fi anywhere, I was able to use, whether it might be WhatsApp or Skype, or if somebody had an iPhone, we could FaceTime. I know that any base, no matter where in the world, is going to have some form of Wi-Fi. The military wants us to be happy. They want us to stay into contact with our loved ones. So they make it as easily possible for us to video chat, to call. The only times that you would find that somebody could not communicate via video chat would be if I'm on a ship, we don't have Wi-Fi or the capacity to actually video chat, but we do pull into a port, at least once a month. So somebody should hit a port if they're in the Navy. If it's someone that's in the Army or Marines, if you're on base, you're going to be able to video chat, call, however you would normally communicate. The only time that would be a time that you couldn't would be if somebody was on a mission, if they left the base, but they wouldn't even be able to tell you that they left the base because of security information. They wouldn't want people to know that they're doing something. So if someone is telling you that they can't video chat you because they're on a mission, that's already incorrect, because if you're on a mission, you wouldn't be able to communicate whatsoever. So if someone has the capacity to communicate with you online,
Okay.
sorry about that. If somebody has the ability to communicate with you online, there's no reason that they should not be able to video chat as well.
So how long did you lived in Japan?
Almost 5 years, 4.5.
Okay.
Okay, so ella vivió en Japan por 5 años.
Sí.
Y ella se comunicaba con sus miembros, su familia, sus familiares y amigos. Y pues también se comunican cuando están en base, pero en misión no se pueden comunicar, no hay manera de comunicar cuando están en una misión. Y en un barco tampoco, porque no hay señal.
Bien. Me gustó eso, porque muchos de los casos que nos han caído a nosotros, Harmony, ha sido de que, o sea, estas personas se comunican con las mujeres y dicen que están, entre comillas, en una misión secreta y que dicen que no pueden comunicarse, pero ¿qué pasa? Que es muy paradójico o muy contradictorio cuando les piden una gift card a estas damas, a estas féminas.
So these people tell the woman, and well, they're mostly Latin women, they tell them that they cannot communicate with them because they're in the base, and supposedly they don't let them, and they ask for gift cards and stuff like that, and information about them.
Okay. So every base has Wi-Fi access for free. The military really wants your morale to be high, because a lot of the stuff we do requires long hours and time away from family. So the military is very big on communication. So I can't think of one base that doesn't have free Wi-Fi for any military member. So there's no reason that someone would have to pay for someone to be able to communicate. And if anyone asks for a gift card, that's already a red flag. The thing about gift cards is that it's very quick access to money. Whereas if I was asking someone to wire me money, it may take time. You could change your mind and pull the wire back. So with a gift card, when you purchase it and give them that number, that money is already gone and you can't trace where that money came from. So the fact that anyone is asking for a gift card is already a red flag, but the military will always have free Wi-Fi on their bases.
La base militar ya tiene internet gratis, so no hay por qué tienes que mandar dinero. Y si compras una tarjeta de regalo, gift card, no hay manera de que traques el número de donde la compraste porque no se va a poder. Y what else did you say? Can you say?
Yes, so the military will always provide free Wi-Fi for any military member that is on base. And if anyone is asking for a card, that's already a red flag because it's a very quick way to get money without having to wire it or track where the money came from, or some types of Zelle or Cash App or PayPal, you're required to have a US bank account.
Okay.
Y ya preguntándote si un scammer o militar te pregunta por una tarjeta de regalo, ya es una bandera roja, ya no puedes confiar.
Ok, eso es un indicativo de una alerta para abrir los ojos. Eso es lo que quiere dejar dicho ella. ¿Sí? ¿Me escuchas?
Sí.
Ok, mira, la otra pregunta es la siguiente. En el día de ayer yo hice un video en live por YouTube hablando de las famosas cajas y habíamos hablado en conversación de las cajas de dinero y de dólares. Cuando ustedes, por ejemplo, están en misión y tienen que hacer algún tipo de envío a sus familiares, o sea, ¿le permiten a ustedes realizar algún tipo de envío en lo que están en misiones?
When y'all are in missions, can y'all like send something to your family members?
Yes. So if I'm on base, we always have a post office. We can actually go to the post office ourselves. We can send things home. I know I've sent, when I've gone out on my ship and I've stopped at different ports, I'll come back to my home port of Japan and I'll put a box together and I can mail it and send it to my family.
So ella dijo que sí puede mandar cosas a sus familiares, pero ella tiene que regresar a Japan y mandarlo por ahí para sus familiares.
Sí, te entiendo perfectamente. Otra pregunta que te iba a mencionar y es, ustedes tienen como tú mencionaste, acerca del Wi-Fi para comunicarse con los familiares, pero internamente entre ustedes, entre lo que es tu comandante o tu general o tu jefe inmediato, ¿ustedes utilizan algún dominio externo, llámese Gmail, Yahoo o Hotmail, o tienen ustedes su dominio dentro de la institución?
In your base with your commander and all your friends in the military, do you have an external domain like Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, or do you have your own?
That's a great question. I'm glad he brought that up because I know some scams will say, my supervisor is going to send you an email. Mm-hmm. Any official mail or form that someone is trying to send you is going to have, for example, for me, it would be my first dot middle name. And let's say it's a common name. You might have like a number 1, 2, or 3 after it. But the biggest thing to look for is it will be for me at Navy.mil. You should always have .mil at the end of anything. It shouldn't be .com or .org or .net. It should always be .mil. So that's a very big thing to look for if someone is saying they're sending you an official email from their work email address, or even if you have questions, to ask them to send you something from their work email address. If they cannot provide it, or they make you feel guilty or manipulate you into feeling like you shouldn't have asked, that's incorrect. Because I know I used to email my parents from my military account, and it would be navy.mil.
Okay. So, sí hay un domain de militar y tiene que ser su primer nombre. Is your first name and your last name, right?
Correct, or last and first, but it'll always be your name in some form at whatever the branch of service.mil.
Okay. Tiene que ser tu primer nombre, tu último nombre y un número, y tiene que hacer mail, mail.com
Okay.
or mail.
Mil,
Navy?
M-I-L, so like military. So instead of .com, it would be navy.mil for military, or army.mil, or marine.mil.
Okay.
Okay. So tiene que ser army or mail.com o una de donde estés, de Navy o Army.
Ok, eso es bueno que lo aclare, porque como yo te había dicho en la pregunta, la mayoría de las estafas en las cuales yo he recibido las quejas y las denuncias provienen de Gmail. Y nosotros hacemos aclaración, y le doy gracias que tú me aclararas eso, porque hay como un cierto tipo de ignorancia por parte de las chicas que han sido estafadas.
So he said that it's good to know and to clarify by you, because it's been a lot of confusion with the women that they have received messages from scammers, and it's really hard for them to know if it's real or fake.
No, I get it. So like I said, it would be, I'll write it on a piece of paper to show you. So it would be.
Lo va a escribir en un papel para enseñarlo.
Ok, no hay problema.
So you'll know because it will say their name,
Okay, name
at
okay.
navy.mil.
Mil.
M-I-L, military.
Sí.
So va a decir su nombre at navy.mil.
Yes.
Sí, sí, eso es lo importante que ya lo aclarara, porque como vuelvo y repito, las chicas se quedan sorprendidas, se quedan exaltadas diciendo, pero el email decía Gmail, porque muchos de estos estafadores utilizan, por ejemplo, usdepartment@gmail.com para decir que es el comandante supremo, cosas así, y ahí por ahí viene lo que es la carta cuando le solicitan, por ejemplo, ellos en este email solicitan a las féminas o a las chicas que les soliciten un supuesto permiso para que ellos salgan del campamento.
So they always use gmail.com, but they use it under their commander, and they use it as in the letter saying that they're gonna let them go, but it's not true. So they tell the woman that they're gonna let them go to go see their family members, but they use gmail.com or Hotmail or Yahoo.
So one thing I will say about any branch of service, if you think of the commander, he's in charge of everything. That's the last thing he is going to be involved in. That would be like asking the president to be involved with something very like minuscule. So the fact that someone is saying their commander would reach out would be like me saying the president is reaching out to you. The commander would never reach out to anybody. That's way beneath his job. He has to make sure that everything is running smoothly. So he's not going to worry about someone taking leave. That's already not how our chain of command would work. Also, if you think about the fact that in the military, even though I can email my family from my email address, we have to have our own email system because sometimes we are emailing things that are sensitive. So anybody could hack into a Gmail or a Hotmail or a Yahoo, but it's a lot harder to get into an email that is like a Navy.mil. So somebody who is in the military would absolutely have to have that. Just due to security purposes, we would not use a Gmail or a Yahoo or a Hotmail.
So, su commander no siempre va a ser el primero que va a estar mandando cosas. Él es el último que tiene, que va a mandar algo así como un mail o algo.
Sí.
Pero es como hablando con el presidente, pero él va a ser el último. Y la única cosa es que pueden usar como ella dijo, el email de el name at
Navy.
mail, navy.mail, pero no Gmail o Yahoo.
Ok, te entiendo perfectamente. Y mi pregunta para Harmony es si ella en algún momento ha descubierto o si en algún momento utilizaron las fotos de ti misma, de Harmony, para estafar a caballeros.
O fotos de Harmony de ella.
Sí, de ella misma, si se han llegado a utilizar fotos para estafar.
Oh, okay. His question to you is that if they have ever used your pictures so like to scam the guys and other guys.
He's asking, has that happened to me?
Yes, like they ever used your pictures to scam guys and talk to them or get money from them?
To my knowledge, no, but I don't really post a lot of pictures in my uniform. I know some people in the military do. There's nothing to say that you can't. I just know for me, I don't feel like it's the cutest outfit, so I don't really take a lot of pictures. So I can't say that I am aware that anybody has ever used any of my pictures to take advantage of someone else.
So ella nunca pone muchas fotos con su uniforme y ella no dice que ella nunca nadie ha usado sus fotos. Que hay mucha gente militar que usa fotos en su traje.
Sí.
No está diciendo que no puede, pero a ella no le han usado sus fotos.
Okay. Gracias a Dios que no lo han usado. Y bueno, yo te quería preguntar algo y es con relación a este tema que vamos a mencionar, y es de que en tu canal tú estás advirtiendo, tú en tu canal has advertido a las mujeres y a los hombres, porque vamos a poner la balanza de que tanto hombres y mujeres han sido estafadas. Dentro de esa cantidad, ¿tú has descubierto algún scammer que haya estafado a alguna de estas personas que te han contactado?
In your channel, you're warning women and men about the scammers, and the people in your channel, have they ever told you or have you find out about scammers in your comments or messages?
So I only have found out when people reach out to me and ask me questions. And my first thing I tell people is if your intuition is saying that something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right.
So la única que hay gente que la contacta a ella para decirle de los scammers y ella le dice que si sientes que algo está pasando mal, que mejor ya no hables con ellos.
Ok, entiendo. Bueno, nosotros tenemos lo que es una parte ahora, lo que es preguntas libres. Tú le puedes preguntar a ella si ella tiene algunas preguntas que yo le pueda responder con relación a lo que hemos investigado como canal de YouTube.
Okay, he said that if you have, this is a part that you can ask like free questions, like if you have any questions about the channel and like questions that you want to ask him.
I see. But something I wanted to add is that in the military, we make very good money. And I am not shy to put that information out there. Even for me, after taxes, I bring home just shy of $5,000. So if somebody in the military is asking for money, either one, they're not very good at money and you need to make sure, is this somebody you really want to be with? But even in the military, we have programs that I could get interest-free loans. The military provides money for people in the military. They should not have to ask another person. If they're truly in the military, we make very good money. And we also have programs each year. We have a fundraiser where we raise money to leave in a pot in the event that something were to happen. Let's say someone had a loved one pass away and they had to take an emergency trip home somewhere. They can then go to that organization where we've all donated money yearly, and they will give them that money, whether they give the money without asking for it back or it's an interest-free loan and they can just pay back little by little. The military makes it very easy to make good money and also have the ability to get money in times of need. So there's no reason anyone in the military should ever ask any other person for money.
So ella está en el militar y ella hace, pues los de militar hacen buen dinero y ella lleva a su casa como $5,000
Sí, ok.
y pues nadie puede preguntarle a alguien más por dinero porque uno de militar hace dinero y ellos trabajan y pueden pedir un loan si necesitan ayuda con funeral o algo así que necesiten, pues ellos se los dan. No hay por qué pedir dinero a otras personas.
Sí, eso yo lo veo bastante excelente y de verdad ese es un buen punto que Harmony ha dicho, porque en muchos de los casos que nos han caído a nosotros, la mayoría de estos chicos, porque te voy a decir que son un rango de chicos entre 15 y 23 años que utilizan fotos de soldados y al ver que no han pedido, o sea, le han pedido dinero a alguna víctima y al ver que estas no han caído o no han cedido a sus peticiones, comienzan con las famosas gift cards. Y te pongo el ejemplo de un soldado que en nuestro canal de YouTube, él se llama Raúl Ríos, él vive en el área de Texas y él mismo nos ha dicho de que los militares no piden. ¿Qué tú nos puedes decir sobre esto?
So in the channel Anti-Scammers hay alguien, como le tengo que decir.
Sí, es un soldado que se llama Raúl Ríos.
Oh, okay. So in the channel Anti-Scammers, he interviewed a guy named Raúl Ruiz.
Raúl Ríos.
Oh, Raúl Ríos.
Sí.
And he's talking about the military and how they scam other people and they use their pictures. ¿Y cuál era la pregunta?
O sea, que eso que ella acaba de mencionar, Raúl Ríos, lo menciona que ningún soldado envía dinero, pero que muchas de estas chicas se encuentran sorprendidas a raíz de que los soldados le piden dinero.
Okay.
Sí.
And the women, they get surprised on how the soldiers ask for money and they get scammed by them.
So he's saying that there are certain cases where people truly are in the military and they are scamming someone. Is that correct?
Yes. And
yeah.
and he interviewed the guy Raul
Raúl Ríos.
Rios,
Ujú.
and he said that nobody should be like asking money.
I agree. And if someone truly is in the military and they're scamming people, that's such a shame. One thing that I would say is that it's very easy when you see someone in a military uniform, or you see someone that is a police officer or a firefighter, or in a position that we trust and admire to serve and protect, to try to trust them more. But when we take this uniform off, we're still a human being. So you have to be careful that there are good people and bad people, no matter what their job is. And that's unfortunate if there are truly people in the military that take advantage of the kind-heartedness of people and the trust that people have of those in uniform.
So cuando se quitan el uniforme, ellos son humanos como todos nosotros, y pues nadie tiene que pedir dinero. Ellos no pueden pedir dinero a otras personas. Y es vergonzoso pedir dinero.
Claro. Sí, es así. Mira, nosotros nos quedan ya pocos minutos, nos quedan alrededor de 7 minutos. Y yo te voy a ceder el tiempo a ti, Harmony. Si tú quieres estos 6 minutos 52 segundos, si tú quieres dar un consejo a las personas, a las féminas, a los caballeros, de cómo evitar el ser estafados por estos scammers.
So we have a few minutes left, and he's gonna give you the time to give an advice to all the women that have been scammed by the scammers.
Thank you for that opportunity. While I wasn't personally scammed by a romance scammer, how we're talking about, I was dating someone that did lie, manipulate on needing money, and I helped them out financially. So while I haven't experienced exactly what they have, I have lost money that I trusted someone that I loved and cared about. So what I would say is that you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. You're going to have days where you feel okay, and it's okay some days to not feel okay. The healing process takes time. You're going to feel angry, upset. A big one that I see are people feel embarrassed or guilty. You should never feel embarrassed or guilty. You were a kind-hearted person and you thought you were doing the right thing to help someone you love. But at the same time, you have to learn to be accountable and search within yourself to understand why you were so vulnerable to someone, because there's not been one person I spoke to that didn't say they felt like something was wrong or something was off. We all felt our intuition telling us that it didn't make sense, but we wanted to be loved so much that we overlooked that. So it's an opportunity to truly understand where your need for love is coming from and to truly heal beyond that situation, but heal what has made you so vulnerable to being victim to that situation.
So ella nunca ha sido scam por un scammer, pero ella ayudó a alguien como con dinero.
Uh-huh.
Y pues ella da el consejo de que tengan cuidado de los que estafan y que no se pongan tristes, y que pues la vida sigue, y que no se dejen caer por alguien así que los estafa.
Ok, sí, de verdad, nos quedan ya 4 minutos y de verdad que de nuestra parte vamos a coordinar más adelante con Harmony una entrevista para su canal de YouTube, que yo estoy dispuesto a responder las preguntas que ella tenga y con más tiempo, porque no sé lo que pasó con Zoom aquí. Y agradecemos, Harmony, que tú hayas dado, te hayas presentado, hayas dado tu cara para aclararle a estas chicas y a estos caballeros de cómo funciona en realidad la Armada de Estados Unidos, en tu caso, US Navy, y agradecemos infinitamente tu participación aquí.
We appreciate you here, Harmony, that you talk here in Zoom to all the women and men about scammers and about giving them advice.
Yeah, absolutely. Any way that I can help. I know that you have been a great source of help to others. And if there's anything that I can do, I'm sure you'll share either my Instagram or Facebook. People are more than welcome to reach out to me if they have any questions on their current situation. And just always use your intuition. You always have something that's telling you it's not right. So always listen to that.
Que te da gracias porque si necesitan ayuda, pues que te va a dar su Instagram o redes sociales para que ella también ayude, y que tu canal de anti-scammers ha sido de mucha ayuda para la gente. Y eso es todo.
Sí, gracias, de verdad. Bueno, vamos a ir concluyendo lo que es la grabación. De mi parte, les pido a cada uno de ustedes que no olviden suscribirse a nuestro canal de YouTube, compártanlo con sus familiares, tanto de habla inglés como habla español. También aquellos que se sientan identificados con la causa, esto es voluntario, no es obligatorio. Les voy a dejar la dirección de PayPal y estamos aquí para ayudarles. De mi parte, Deiner Santos, muchas gracias, Harmony. Gracias, nuestra traductora, por ayudarnos en esto, y será hasta otra próxima ocasión.
Thank you.
Thank you.